And as to the pain that people are suffering, pain is cathartic. You know, the philosopher Schopenhauer said, without suffering, life is meaningless. Back in 1989, I was working at a place, maybe 90. And you know, my life started off here in earnest with these Vietnam vet type guys from the veteran hospitals walking around in the streets. And they would accost me for some reason, God knows why, you know. One of the guys came over, and I think it was working at a place, and he came in, and again, he went straight into this. He was asking for some books. I was working in a bookstore, and he came over. He was dressed in rags, long, big beard, you know, homeless. Had a pin that showed he was a vet, and he'd been through all the hell of the, you know, the veteran hospitals, and not to mention just the war itself. And so I looked up, and nobody else was paying him any attention, but I like soldiers, so I said, "Yeah, dude, what's going on?" He goes, "Yeah, man, you got Ed Griffin's book, or you know, you got the Fourth Reich of the Rich by Jim Marrs or something." He was asking about these conspiracy books, and so I went and got them, and he was leafing through them, you know, and looking at, and then he was walking out the store, and he kind of, you know, looked at me, and he made a gesture as he left, and I saw more pain in that man's eyes than America can ever suffer. And I said, "I will be thy servant."
Wow.
So keep the suffering going, because you're still shy of what I saw in one man's eyes.
Sure.
And I said, "My friend, they left you in the gutter. They threw you to the side. This wonderful country of yours has left you broken. I swear to dedicate my life to the suffering I've seen in your eyes." And I've done that. And when everybody's suffering leads them to that point, then change will happen. Then there'll be catharsis, and then there'll be a grand awakening. Before that, yeah, it's like little scabs. You haven't suffered yet. So there's still plenty to go yet. And it's all good. It's all for the good. Because in this war against evil, it is do or die. And I don't want to look in your eyes and see weakness. And neither does the Force. So this is tempering people to go through a kind of a battle that leads to a war, that leads to a Armageddon, that leads to apocalypse, that leads to Mahapralaya. It's happened before. The Maya and the Aztec talk about 5 worlds that came and went, or 4 worlds that were, you know, came, existed, and destroyed. It's the order of the day. Plato and his people talked about it as well, and so do many other traditions. And I rephrase it by saying that if a world is based in nothing but lies, right, and hypocrisy and injustice, why are you trying to prop it up? You are then worse than the evil. The evil has come along to knock it down. What are you doing trying to prop it back up again? The thing is terminal. The thing is rotten to the core. It's based on bones and death and blood of the good man, the great man. The great people have been crucified right up until the 20th century. Right? Now you call it shadow banning, or you call it, you know, deplatforming. Look, that's just the latest instance of some plonker like Mark Zuckerberg, who hasn't even got a personality, telling, you know, the greatest people alive, "Yeah, we don't agree with you." Now somebody in the public has let that occur. Right. It's called social media for a reason. The rest of us, for convenience, or again, you know, just apathy or affluence, has allowed those monstrosities to, you know, gain power. And, you know, we could pull a plug on them overnight. In fact, I'm glad to see that certain things are moving in that direction. So it's not that it's all bad, but it, you know, we've let every institution that you could name that is playing the game, you know, to get good people out of government and to stop populist voting mechanisms and all these things. All of those things could have been stopped by the human race, by the people themselves, with their cash, with their money, with their intelligence. Not very, very difficult to do, and yet it didn't happen. You know, so yeah, more needs to be done. We've seen some good signs, of course, but more needs to be done. And only when you get to suffer do you really see that these certain traditions that you've had, not all perfect, a lot of it can be improved, but you've got to get rid of these voices that want to dismantle Western civilization. You know, the feminist movement, all of these different ethnic movements, and the politicians who cater to them and lobby for anti-Western, anti-white, you know, sort of ways of life. This is to go. It's not that I'm against anybody else, but, you know, they can take care of themselves. How dare you say that they have rights and they have a voice and they have meaning and that their lives matter, but not the host race? Something seriously wrong there. And deep down inside, people know it.